Hello, welcome back. So today's video I'm very excited about. I actually haven't done one of these in about a year and a half, I think. I haven't really researched or fell in love with a bag or really thought about a bag in length this way in a very long time, and I finally did for a couple months and bought a new bag to show you today. This is a first impressions, why I bought it, features of the bag, that kind of video that I've done in the past for my Loewe bags, my Givenchy bags, Louis Vuitton bags, etc. This is slightly different. It's not designer, it's from a brand called Dragon Diffusion, but it's very exciting to me because it kind of gave me the similar feelings that I would usually feel when I was researching a Givenchy bag or a Gucci bag, etc. So yeah, I'm just excited to show you the bag. So the way that I usually do these things is I'll just show you the bag first. I think a lot of people are very interested in what it looks like, and then I'll go into the reasonings as to why I bought it, and then what fits, etc., first impressions, things like that. So when you purchase a Dragon Diffusion bag, it's kind of a smaller indie brand, but it's quite luxury in terms of the materials that they use. These are all made in India, hand woven, and the quality in first glance, I'll just spoiler alert you, is exquisite. And the bags come in these little tote bags that have Dragon Diffusion, the logo kind of plastered on top, so it's kind of nice to get a bag with a bag, I guess. And this obviously can double as a dust bag, even though I don't really foresee myself using it as a dust bag that much. And to get it out, you just do this. It's kind of difficult to get it out because of the shape of the bag, but here it is. This is the Dragon Diffusion Santa Croce bag in the large size in the dark brown colorway. You can see it a little bit better because I've turned on a sort of warmer light at the background so that the color really pops. It is definitely darker in person. This is kind of more what it would look like without a lot of light on it, so that's kind of the natural color. And when you have, you know, the sunrise, sunset, or even artificial warm lighting around it, it does turn a bit more chocolatey, kind of maybe like a 60-70% cocoa content, this type of chocolate brown, which I really love. And this bag is sort of a kind of reverse trapezoid shape. I think I really was bad at geometry, so I don't know what kind of shape this is. Strap drop, it says on the website that it's 19 centimeters. I do think that it's a little bit shorter than that. I will measure it and put it on the screen here so that you can get reference. And one thing about Dragon Diffusion is that because they are all handmade, hand woven, there will be slight discrepancies in terms of each bag for the measurements and things like that, which I think definitely adds to the character and the fun. There's no two bag that's exactly the same, and I really love that about it. It has the weaving over here is similar to Bottega's Intrecciato kind of pattern that is on their Jodi bags. They're basically their kind of flagship weave method, and that's actually part of the reason why I bought it, because I am kind of eyeing a Bottega bag as well, but because of the price point, I just really want to make sure that this kind of pattern is one that I will get a lot of use out of, but I'll go into that details of that a little bit later. The weaves, as you can see, they're made of different strips of leather, so you can see that, oh, this is a better angle actually, so that you can see it's different strips of leather, so, and it's all kind of vegetable tanned in different methods. Well, it's the same method, but because of the leather it will kind of appear differently, which really gives dimension to the bag, and I really love that about it. And you know, there's like little to no sort of seams around the bag. I don't actually know how they constructed it to be like this. I feel like it's quite magical, but as you can see, there's no seams anywhere. It just sort of is. And the one thing that did kind of scare me a little bit when this first arrived is I was thinking, is this a faulty bag or whatever? Because I've watched past videos whilst doing my research about these Dragon Diffusion Santa Croce bags. They usually have a kind of strip of pebbled leather in an oblong shape at the very base, but this one didn't have it, so I thought, is it faulty? Is it a fake or something like that? But I think these are just the new season ones. I've done further research on, you know, people who have just gotten their new bags in, and there are slight differences. I think they upgraded the design so that it looks a bit more seamless, and personally I do prefer this a little bit more because it just provides a sort of unlimited eye line for the entirety of the bag instead of it being cut off at the bottom here with a quite obvious strip of leather. The inside of the bag as well, there's also some changes. I bought this off of matchesfashion.com, and I think the imagery that they provide on the display pages over there where it shows the product of is slightly old. I think it might be a previous season, so it just says made in India in the tags on matchesfashion.com in particular, but the new ones have kind of a longer tag over here where it speaks about the craftsmanship and everything about the bag as well. And I haven't actually even taken the tags off yet. It's still there, and what it says on there is Santa Croce big basket, Dragon Diffusion, one size, dark brown. So this is the tag if you wanted to look for it in person. As always, all of the Dragon Diffusion bags come with this kind of St. Christopher medallion over here. And this one is no different, so it's over there on the inside as well. And as you can already see from what I've shown you, it's a giant black hole in there, which I really don't mind because this is an open tote bag. It's quite easy to just stick your hand in and find things, and I do have pouches and things like that for more loose items. One thing I will caveat is that there is no sort of magnetic clasp or anything. This medallion could look like one, but it's definitely not, so it doesn't stick to anything, and it's quite an open hole. And yeah, that's kind of the overview of the bag there. It's very, very simple, very streamlined. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to this one, and that's part of the reason why I really, really wanted this. I basically really wanted to get a bag that emulated the vibe of the Bottega Jodi. I was specifically looking at the teen size and the small size in the travertine colorway, but I just wasn't 100% sure whether or not a weaved bag suits my style. I think now that I have this, I definitely think it does. But I just wanted a very nice quality bag that it wasn't exactly the same as Jodi, but had elements of similarity that I can test out, but still keep the original bag that I bought to test out in my closet for a different usage as well if I do end up getting the Jodi. And this ticks all of the boxes. You can just see that, you know, it effortlessly kind of goes onto your shoulder. I have mentioned before that I have quite slopey shoulders and they're quite narrow, so shoulder bags aren't the best fit for me, which is why I never had a tote bag for everyday use before. I have my Neverfull, which is quite large for travel purposes, but I just wanted a tote bag that was for everyday. I think it is definitely a trend item at the moment, but all of the bags in my collection and my wardrobe are either bum bags or crossbody bags. So I just wanted something that can kind of differentiate and has a casual vibe for travel and vacation, for beach holidays, pool days, etc., but also be able to kind of traipse around in the city. So I wanted the versatility, which is why I chose the dark brown colorway as well. I was debating between this, the pearl, and the tan color, but I definitely was gravitating much more towards the dark brown time and time again, and I was thinking maybe I should just kind of hold out for it. This is quite a hot item, I think, and Dragon Diffusion at the moment on their website and on their Instagram page says that there's a 10-week delay for production, so definitely the demand is much higher than the supply that they're able to get out. But I've set notifications on matchesfashion.com, and one day it just came back in stock, so I definitely snatched it right up, and I'm so happy that I did. It actually came the next day, so go matchesfashion.com as well. The corners of the bag as well is very kind of stiff and rigid, so I'm not going to, like, it is malleable, like you can see that it sort of moves right now when I'm squeezing it, but I don't really want to. The whole point of the bag is that there's some structure to it, even though it's malleable overall. There is still some structure to it. I believe the Nantucket, which was another style I was debating, it's much more malleable, so if you put anything in it, it will just droop and sag over here, which is an effortless look as well, but it's slightly different to what I was aiming for. And the reason why, going back to the colorway, that I picked dark brown as opposed to the other two that I was debating, which is the pearl and the tan, is because I just wanted this to be an all-rounder. I wanted to take it out again to brunch, to shopping, like cityscapes, and things that you do usually when you're kind of doing a little weekend day out. And I also wanted to be able to use this on holiday in, you know, beach vacations, pool days, exploring the city center at a weekend getaway, etc. And I thought that this colorway in the dark brown was kind of more suitable for every scenario that I was thinking about getting it for, so that's why I went for the dark brown. The tan, though, is beautiful, but I'm very, very happy with my choice. The brown, as you can see here, I think at this angle is better. The brown is definitely much more of kind of a deep chocolate brown. So you know how some dark browns maybe have a tinge of red in it, a tinge of orange in it. This is a true sort of dark chocolate brown. So it doesn't kind of sway in any of those directions. There are kind of lighter patches when you bring it to the light over here at the bottom of the bag, which is totally fine. It's just the construction of a handmade bag, and I'm very, very happy about that, and I love it as well. It also smells really good. It's kind of one of the first things that I did was just like give it a sniff to see, and it has that buttery kind of musk smell of a very good quality leather, which really kind of is akin to the high luxury bags that I used to really, really obsess over. But now I feel like there are just so many things to be said about smaller brands who take craftsmanship really, really seriously, use high quality leathers, and the shape I found it's very, very unique as to what I was looking at, and it's very easy to use as well. Like you can see that I can kind of just clamp it on my shoulder, which is quite important for me because I have narrow shoulders that kind of slope. I need to be able to sort of secure it by doing a little bit of a squeeze, and this really lends itself very, very well for that. I thought that the shape as well, you don't really see it too much, and it's quite chic. It's not really an inverted triangle, which a lot of basket bags are. The Loewe basket bag, for example, has an inverted triangle. Any sort of more traditional raffia totes are usually an inverted triangle, and I really loved how this sort of had the elegance in the shape. Quite different to what I currently have in my closet. I'm just so excited about this bag. I haven't really thought about buying a bag like this in so long now that I finally, you know, fell in love with something enough to actually pull the trigger and be able to justify. So yeah, that's why I bought the bag. I can already envision myself in lots of different outfits. I also wear quite, you know, neutral and dark color palettes, so I thought that this would be amazing. It would also kind of look really, really good against a white outfit, for example. It would really pop if I was wearing a white t-shirt, things like that, and it's amazing. I just really, really love it. After that ramble, I think it's quite clear that first impressions wise, I'm very, very impressed. I really love the construction, and again, one of the main things that really jumps out at me is just the lack of seams. I don't understand how they did it, but even in the handles, it's just been stitched together by a very clever weaving. So there's nothing that's kind of attaching the handles to the bag on, like, that's been reinforced by seams and things like that. I am a little bit conscious of this because obviously if one of the weaves fall apart or get torn apart, then that will be quite a big issue. But I think this bag has been constructed really well, that it has been thought about at least. There's also no seams in the corners, there's no seams at the bottom, as I mentioned. There's just no seams at all. This whole thing just seems to have popped out in its form already, all perfect. So construction wise, I can't say enough good things about it. And you can also see by the way that the weaves have been done, it's more dense and narrower at the top, as you can see here, and it actually widens as you go down, which again is genius to me. I don't know how they did it, but I'm very, very impressed. It also feels substantial without being too heavy. Everything about this bag at the moment, in terms of first impressions, I'm so impressed with. So yeah, I'm not going to ramble too much about that. I think you have heard me sing enough praises about this. Right, so next up, I'm actually just going to show you what fits inside the bag. I definitely don't want to overstuff it, but in terms of my essentials that I bring every single day with me and maybe a few added extras, I'm just going to put them into the bag and then show you how it looks like on. Hi, I've tilted the camera down a little bit so that you can see what actually fits in it as I put my items in. Obviously this is a tote bag, so you know that the capacity is quite big, but in terms of things that I usually bring, I thought it would just be helpful to show you anyway. So the bag is currently empty, so you can see over here. Let me move the tag. And excuse my camouflage sweatpants, all of my other ones are in the wash. So the usual culprits, my phone, fits in there just fine. My Kindle, all good. Battery pack, all good. Wallet, obviously all good. And I also have this cute little pouch, so that has all my sort of miscellaneous loose bits, so lip balm, band-aids, things like that. That also fits in there just fine. And I usually like to carry my Fujifilm camera with me when I'm going, you know, somewhere within the city that I kind of want to take some nice little pictures. So I've also got that in there as well. As you can see, it is quite heavy now because I have quite a lot of electronic items in there, but it fits really nicely. And even though it is quite heavy, you can see that the bottom isn't bowing out. So it definitely has the sort of weight bearing abilities for something that's a little bit heavier. I wouldn't recommend doing that too much or too often, like carrying laptops, things like that in there, just because I would be a little bit worried about the wear and tear on the handles over here because it's only held together by the weaves. I know that they have definitely considered this when they constructed the bag, so maybe I'm just being a bit overcautious, but I just wanted to show you for demonstration purposes that this can hold a lot of quite heavy items, quite bulky items, things like that, and it doesn't really have any issues with the bottom bowing out or it feeling too heavy. Let me move you back up. And I also wanted to talk about the kind of reachability of the bag as well. I think that's quite important, especially for a tote bag. So for now, it's quite stuffed full with the things that I just showed. And what you can do is just kind of snake your arm out and then just grab your items like this. So pretty easy, I would say. I think because of the shape, because the top is a bit more narrow and the bottom bows out a little bit, it gives a lot of room for your hand to sort of wave around within the bag to look for the items that you need. And so I know that I haven't taken this out yet, but I have trialed this, as cool as that sounds, within the house, just to see what the usability would look like if I were out and I needed to grab something really quickly. So far, so good. Very usable, very, very amazing in terms of how it holds its shape. It's stuffed full still, as you can see. Ooh, I don't really want to tip it over, but there's lots of things in there, but you can see that it hasn't actually dipped at all. It has stayed really, really nice and rigid still. So yeah, I love it. I'm so happy. Yay. Right. That's everything about the Dragon Diffusion large Santa Croce bag in the dark brown color. I'm so happy that I made a purchase that excites me this much. Again, like I've mentioned, I haven't really been this excited about a bag in quite a long time, and it's good to be back essentially. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions about, you know, specific dimensions and things that you want to see fit within the bag, let me know. And in the meantime, subscribe if you are interested in these kinds of videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.